Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Anthony Lugg. The winter tourist season is shaping up to be the best in the country's history, with 178,000 more seats booked when compared to previous seasons. Despite the positive outlook, travel agents say they've been having challenges selling brand Jamaica. Kimberly Petty reports.
From a damning U.S. traveler advisory, the fallout from Hurricane Beryl, hotel worker protests and long delays at Sangster International Airport, the tourism sector has had its fair share of problems recently. But with the winter tourist season now upon us, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says amid these disruptions, the sector is resilient. But how difficult is it selling brand Jamaica?
Jamaica's the easiest sell there is. I mean, trying to sell a cruise, it's very aggravating to try to sell a cruise. I say Jamaica, I can just start reeling off all the different hotels, the reason why you should come here, the food, the people, the atmosphere, the weather, and to be really honestly, Jamaica almost sells itself.
So with the 2025-2026 winter tourism season about to open up in Jamaica, and it's projected that this is going to be the best year for tourism in the history of Jamaica. So today I felt the need to send a message to the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Mr. Edmund Bartlett. I believe that in the history of tourism in Jamaica, I believe that as a tourism minister, I believe that you are going to go down as the best tourism minister in Jamaican history. And it's obvious, like within this administration, under your leadership, Jamaica tourism have exceeded expectation. And for 2026, 2025, 2026, to see that Jamaica is going to accomplish what it's never accomplished before in terms of tourism. And I believe that the honorable thing to do is to pretty much give you the credit, because you know, the buck stops with you. Like if the Jamaica tourism product failed, you would have to stand and take responsibility for it. So because of the massive success, I think it's only fair that you should stand there and take the credit for it. Over the past 30 years, the Jamaica tourist product have been pretty good. It's one of the best product out there, not only in the Caribbean, but in the world. And I think a big part of that is because of, you know, the late Bush Stewart and the Issas. For those two Jamaican entrepreneurs that did something that nobody thought was possible when they revolutionized the all-inclusive concept in Jamaica and made Jamaica what it is today. So over the past 30 years, I've been a part of hospitality for a little bit over 30 years. And I've studied Jamaican hospitality probably more than anyone else. And I have to say, over the past 30 years, the product has been one of the best in the world. And I think there's a lot of success I know the Jamaican government reap a lot of success in terms of the hundreds of thousands of rooms that's been added to the Jamaica tourism product from 2020 until today, or from 2000 until today. And I believe that the investors that have invested in Jamaica, they have seen a good profit on their return. So pretty much everybody that takes part in this tourism product is pretty happy. Like it's win-win for most people. The only people that I'm really concerned about is the Jamaican people. And this is what I want to address today. I believe that the government of Jamaica have benefited greatly from tourism. The investors that invest in hotels in Jamaica, they have benefited greatly from the tourism product. The people that have not benefited are the Jamaican people. The people that work in the tourism sector, that the numbers pretty much, they're the same for the past 30 years. Over 70% of Jamaicans who work in the hospitality industry are not making livable wages, and that needs to change. And as I said, over 30 years, tourism have been really good to Jamaica. And I believe that the Jamaican people have been taken advantage of. And we see that now in recent times, in the past, I would say 2 years, the amount of protests and walkout from hotels on the North Coast that we have seen is like unprecedented. We have never seen so much walkout and so much protest before. And I believe that even though you're doing a good job, if you want to cement your legacy as the best tourism minister in the history of Jamaica, which you are already, as I said, I would consider you so far the best tourism minister. But if you want to cement a legacy that put you on a different level from not only a minister of tourism, but ministers in Jamaica history, you need to do something about the workers. You need to do something about the workers that come to work every day and work in tourism. That needs to be addressed. And this is very personal to me because as a young man growing up in Jamaica, growing up in Cockburn Pen, at the age of like 15, going into 16, the hospitality, the hotel industry, I can say 100% saved my life. Like if I did not find the hotel industry, 90% chance I would not be here today. Growing up in Cockburn Pen, running around Waterhouse, Olympic Gardens, having more access to gun than to a job. If I did not find the hotel industry, if I did not get my first hotel job at the Jamaica Pegasus at 17 years old, where I had the opportunity to be mentored by grown men and women and see a different type of lifestyle than what I saw in the ghetto, I would not have been here sitting down today. So I believe that it's in your best interest, it's in Jamaica's best interest to make sure that people that are working in the hotel, they are making livable wages. Because we look in 1993 when I started working in the hotel industry, Montego Bay was not the murder capital of Jamaica. Montego Bay was not the murder capital of Jamaica. There are hundreds of hotels on the North Coast. And the reality is that a lot of these young men refuse to go work in a lot of those hotels because most people working in the hotel, as I said, are 70%. And I have first-hand experience. You know, it saved my life. I was one of the lucky ones that got in early in the 90s when we got better pay in the 90s. And that is the reality. In 1993 to about the early 2000s, we were getting 2-3 weeks pay for Christmas bonus. We were getting gratuity. We were getting tips. Like if I made $100 per week or whatever US, I would make $200 in tip. But the reality today, when you go into any of those hotels in Montego Bay right now, most of the workers, they can't accept tips. The wages have dropped drastically. Like when I was working there in 1993, going up into the early 2000s, when I left Jamaica and I saw some of the new contracts coming out of those hotels, it was a shame because 10 years prior, I was making more money than what people were making in the 2000s. So that has got to change. And it is just a shame because now I'm hearing that there are even talks of bringing in people from probably as far as the Philippines because they can't find workers to work. How can you not find workers to work in Jamaica when there are all these, there are over 1,000 murders per year? A lot of these young men that are out there killing people, a lot of these guys could be in the hotel working because I was one of them that could be out there killing people back in the 90s. And I found refuge working in the hotel, in the hospitality industry. I found mentorship in the hotel. And all you need to do is to make sure that these people that are working in the industry, that they can get livable wages. And the thing is, because when I just enter the industry before I started making money. You know, I've had a few experience where, you know, like I'll be there at the hotel and, you know, you'll be talking to an American because, you know, coming out of the ghetto and working in the hotel, like I've never seen a white person face to face before. You only see them on TV. So getting this experience to be talking to Americans, to be talking to Canadians, to be talking to Europeans. And what would happen a lot of time is like you're there just, you know, serving and you're at the bar serving like a tourist from America or from anywhere in Europe. And you're just, you know, small talk and you're like, oh my gosh, like, yo, you guys are lucky. You live in paradise. And you're hearing all this stuff. And you're thinking in your mind, you know, true, you know, like, I'm going to leave this work tonight and go home and eat some mackerel and white rice while you are here eating steak and drinking a glass of champagne for like how much $100. That's how we felt at the time. And as I said, at that time, I was making more money at that time in the 90s than what people were making in the 2000s because the hospitality industry just went down in terms of how much they paid people that's working there. So that is my challenge to you, Mr. Tourism Minister, to please, and if you're wondering how is this possible, I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can do. Yes, so I'm going to give you ideas of what to do. I'm not just here to complain. I'm not one of those Jamaicans that just complain and just keep complaining about politicians. You know, I give you credit where credit is due, but what needs to be fixed needs to be fixed. And this is some of the idea that I'd like to give you. When I left Jamaica in the early 2000s, when I left Jamaica at that time, Jamaicans could leave Jamaica and go anywhere in the world. The time when I left, I had friends, you know, I left Jamaica, I went to Bermuda to apply my trade in the hospitality industry in Bermuda. I had people, you know, going to Dubai, I had people going to Saudi Arabia from Jamaica, you know, people going to Australia. And one of the things that I saw when I went to Bermuda that I'm like, why couldn't Jamaica be doing this? And that was, when I went to Bermuda, that was like about 20 years ago. And Jamaica is not doing that in 2024, 2025. Jamaica is not doing that. So what I think that an idea that you could do is, in Bermuda, there is a minimum wage for hospitality workers. There are different levels. When you go into the hotel industry in Bermuda, there's a minimum wage for bartenders. There's a minimum wage for housekeepers. There's a minimum wage for servers. And that 3 level, you go into the hotel and every single hotel in the island, by law, you have to pay housekeepers a certain amount, you have to pay waiters a certain amount, and you have to pay bartenders a certain amount. And that minimum wage is different from the local minimum wage. So when I'm suggesting like a minimum wage for hotel workers in Jamaica, I'm not talking about the same minimum wage that you'll get if you're working at Tasties or if you're working at KFC. I'm talking about a minimum wage that would be pretty much rival if you're, for example, you're working at one of those banks, at least 50% more than the minimum wage that locals are making. Because the reality is that Jamaican hotels make a lot of money. And ask any Jamaican that travel anywhere across the world, like Canada, Toronto, Montreal, the hotels are not as expensive as they are in Kingston. In Kingston, at Jamaica Pegasus, you can pay $500 a night for a room. $500 a night for a room. That is more than what you're paying in Toronto. That is more than what you're paying in Montreal. Even in Dubai, sometimes the prices in Jamaica are comparable to what you pay in places like Dubai. And these workers in Canada, in America, in Dubai, they're making more than 3 times what the workers in Jamaica they're making, even though the package is pretty much the same. So I believe that the government and the hoteliers in Jamaica need to get to a point where they say, you know what? We are going to pay our workers livable wages. And if that, because it's only a matter of time before the hospitality industry in Jamaica crumble, because people are not going to work forever if they're not making livable wages. And that is just the reality of it. And I believe that if it get to the point where we already see Spanish workers in Jamaica, if it get to the point where you turn around and you're seeing people from the Philippines, you're seeing people from India, you're seeing people from all over the world in the hotels and not Jamaicans, that is going to be a very bad look for Jamaica. So that is my suggestion to deal with just livable wages for the workers that's working in the hospitality industry. And this foolishness about not being able to take tips, you know? Like everywhere else in the world you go, you can take tip. And you go to Jamaica and you see them, sometimes they're wearing a badge like, please don't tip me, and that nonsense. So please, as I said, you are a good minister of tourism, and you're doing an awesome job, but the people, the Jamaican workers in those hotels, it's about time that they start getting paid. And guys, if you're watching this video and you work in the hospitality industry, just sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. And if you want to share your experience, if you are in one of those hotels and you agree with me that the money that you're making is not livable wages, you can't go out there and pay rent and buy a decent meal to show up to work the next day. Sometimes you have to stay at the hotel and eat 3 meals a day because you can't go home and cook. So sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. And Mr. Minister, if you're seeing this, please, livable wages for hotel workers. And guys, thank you for watching. And if you found any value in this video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.